네, 여러분 거듭 안내 말씀을
Once
드리겠습니다.
again,
TryEverything
housekeeping
2023
announcement.
다양한
Now we
프로그램들과
are doing
함께
Try
있는데요.
Everything 2030. Now in this session, we are going to invite the speakers for Do ESG by SKT Demo Day. So we prepare small lunchbox. So this is a lunch time. So please do enjoy your lunchbox and enjoy this session as well. And now we are going to begin demo day. So lunchbox is on your right side.
저희 ESG 코리아를 통해서는 SKT와 함께 협력 업무도 진행을 했는데요. SKT에서 얼마 전에 부산 세계장애인 선수권 대회에서 부스를 설치하고 전시회를 운영을 한 적이 있습니다. ESG 코리아에서는 속속들이 파악해 주시고 다 끌어올려 주셨고, 그리고 먼 미래에 저희가 예상할 수 없었던 그런 문제들까지도 미리 지적을 해주시면서 앞으로 미래를 대비할 수 있는 좋은 조언들을 많이 해주셨습니다. 정말 최고입니다.
네, 맞습니다. 저희가 복약 데이터를 수집을 하고 있고, 이 데이터를 기반으로 시니어 케어 그리고 독거노인, 정신질환자, 만성질환자 케어 서비스를 진행하고 있는데, 이 서비스를 진행하면서 많은 부분을 ESG 코리아 프로그램을 통해서 도움을 받고 있습니다.
네, 저희가 ESG 코리아를 처음 지원을 하였을 때 ESG라는 이 좋은 개념이 어떤 건지 좀 많이 헷갈리기도 하고 어떻게 보면 도덕책 같은 그런 개념이어서 저희가 좀 어려운 부분이 있었는데, 이번 ESG 코리아를 참여하게 되면서 어떤 게 ESG고 어떻게 하면 저희 사업에 도움이 될 수 있을지 굉장히 구체화하는 데 도움이 정말 많이 되었습니다.
저희는 컴퓨터 비전 AI를 활용해 보행 분석 키오스크를 만들고 있습니다. AI 보행 분석으로 파킨슨병을 조기 진단하고자 목표하고 있으며, SK텔레콤이 저희 험난한 바닷길에서 좋은 길잡이가 되어주고 있습니다.
그리고 이뿐만 아니라 이러한 물류를 처리하기 위한 WMS, OMS 시스템까지 구축하고 있어서 장기적으로 버려지는 제품 없이 자원 선순환이 일어나게끔 노력하도록 하겠습니다.
저희 뉴로팩에서는 ESG 코리아를 통해서 다양한 투자사들을 만날 수 있었으며, 이뿐만 아니라 다양한 네트워크 그리고 매출과 관련된 다양한 협업을 진행할 수 있는 도움을 많이 받았습니다. 네, 저희 뉴로팩은 앞으로도 친환경과 그리고 기능성 포장재 연구 개발과 같은 다양한 ESG 관련된 연구 개발을 지속적으로 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 여러분 반갑습니다. Do ESG with SK Telecom.
Do ESG by SK Telecom Demo Day is now opening. I'm the announcer Kim Kyung-mi. It's very nice to meet you.
오늘 이 자리는 TryEverything.
So this session is taking place as a part of Try Everything 2030. So startups who are making the great challenges and also the supporting companies are mingled together as a part of Try Everything 2030. So ESG Korea and the Special Accelerator program is operated by SK Telecom. So this session is to share such a story by inviting the relevant people. So ESG startup story can be shared. In the sense, this will be very meaningful occasion. Taking this opportunity, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to the Seoul City government and SKT, the startup hub. And also SBA, the startup, the Seongsu Herb is making great support as well for this startup. Taking this opportunity, our sincere thanks go to SBA as well. So the startup, the A to Z, will be discussed, and in particular, we are going to have discussions about ESG, and we are going to invite the startups to hear about the pitching regarding ESG. I believe ESG is a familiar term, so the lay person, they also have some understanding about ESG, and the startups, they should be equipped with ESG in order to advance into the market. So we are going to have a discussions about that. So the selection and the focus, and that will be the first topic. For this, we are going to invite Mr. Yang Jae-mo from SK Telecom.
얼라이언스 부서에서 ESG 코리아,
So he is in charge of ESG impact reports. As an ESG expert, he is actively working in this field. Let me invite Mr. Yang. Please welcome him with a big round of applause. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As was just introduced, my name is Yang Jae-mo. Today, I'm going to talk about ESG, and this is what we are studying with the startup representative who did pitch earlier. It's shown on my slide already. Recently, I went climbing and there was no trash can. I went to the mountain Jirisan and I couldn't find any trash can. So I had to put all my trash in my backpack and I carried them. Since I'm doing ESG, so my experience can be compared to the regulations that our businesses are facing. So they have to carry all the carbon emissions they are emitting. So maybe there are some businesses that are climbing mountains where still there are trash cans. But one day, all those trash cans will be eliminated. So now I'm going to talk about what we need to focus on in terms of ESG. There are 3 keywords. First, for startups, which are not large companies, how they can ensure ESG from A to Z. So we need to make a situational ESG approach, and also how we can align ESG practices with your business models. Third, ESG as an entrepreneurship. So ESG has been introduced for about 3 years, so I'm sure you understand the concept of ESG. So non-account information linked to the value of the company. So normally it is related to the insight about the value of the company, which is intangible. So non-financial values are reflected in investments. So for investors, thanks to ESG practices or reports, they can gain more detailed and thorough understanding of the company they are investing in, so there's nothing for them to lose. So for this part, you've heard a lot already, so I'll skip that. But here, this cartoon was featured in Economist in 2019. So now the COVID-19 is not in the league anymore because the climate change is playing the main game. So climate risk equals investment risk. So when you look at the insurer's data, 360 trillion won is being paid out as insurance compensation. And we continuously see the ESG-related funds rolling out. SK Telecom launched 2 types of ESG funds, and Korea Venture Investment created ESG investment guidelines. But not all venture companies are reflecting ESG, but they are required to join or purchase ESG funds, and there are not many startups who can actually meet this requirement. So ESG is basically about long-term outcomes. So startups are having difficulties in terms of ESG practices. So if you are planning to start a new company or startup, you need to keep this in mind. So either by yourself or in collaboration with your partners, you have to reflect ESG in your business. But when it comes to open innovation, next speaker will detail on that. But we are seeing the increase in open innovations, just like RE100. So you need to actively adopt this at fast pace. So every day we are seeing new innovation practice. So one of the main collaboration examples is this. Patagonia invested in Brego. So Brego and Patagonia collaborated. So starting with the cap here on the slide. So the Breo is continuously providing the material to Patagonia. And this bag is quite famous. And recently, there was a collaboration with Korean Air. Those life vests, 100% of the life vests are made of the waste. So in collaboration with the cosmetic companies, Korean Air create those life vest pouch. And Blackpink is an ambassador of SDG. So they are SDG advocates and they are using Korean Air charter flight, and taking that opportunity, they created Blackpink backpack. So how we can start with ESG? So you need to first think about why my team, my company need to respond to ESG. To attract investment or to collaborate on ESG with large companies, or you want to have an ESG mindset. So you need to constantly ask these questions before you start your ESG practice. So you also need to figure out whether you are ESG startup or you are going to implement ESG business administration. The second question is you need to think about what social problems my company is resolving. And in the process of problem solving, what kind of healthy decisions are you making? Normally, we use this tree to explain this. Fruits are the outcomes or values created through the resolution of the problems. And the stems and roots are ESG management. So let me give you some examples and cases. This company, as you see on the slide, the name of this company is Chop Value. This company is recycling wooden chopsticks. They are headquartered in Vancouver, Canada. So they were founded in 2016. It's been about 6 or 7 years old. So recycling wooden chopsticks, they are manufacturing interior products or furniture. So this table is just $1,000, very affordable prices. So they are planning to expand to global market. So they started to take interest in ESG and they wanted to expand their ESG practices. So far, they spotted that 100,000 chopsticks are being thrown away in Vancouver alone. So the CEO who majored in the wooden civil engineering, he paid attention to that. And he created a company, Chop Value. So Chop Value looked at the entire supply chain of the wooden chopsticks, where they are manufactured, how they are delivered to the end users, and how they are disposed of. They looked at the whole cycle and they collected waste chopsticks and then sorted out the wooden chopsticks, and they dry and they press them, and based on that they manufacture new products. In the process, they focused on the areas where the largest amount of carbon emissions are generated. So that was a transport. So they made a micro factory approach. So it wasn't centralized manufacturing. So they chose the microfactory practice, which produced less carbon emissions than centralized manufacturing. So this kind of manufacturing practice can be called local manufacturing. So after all, everything starts with material. So all startups will say, we start with waste leather or wasted wooden chopsticks. We recycle wooden chopsticks that flew 9,000 miles, but instantly they become waste. And through life cycle assessment, these companies should create ESG values. Then you can truly call yourself ESG companies. I'm from SK Telecom. So ESG Korea worked together with us how they practice ESG efforts. So we organically combined business models of startup companies, and we help them create impact, and we identify improvement areas and specify ESG management, and also we identify and create collaboration opportunities with collaborative network. It's been already 3 years since the launching of ESG Korea. So this year we have ESG Korea 2023. So based on change theory, we define the problem and we assess impact and we identify solutions. I'm in charge of this. Lastly, we produce ESG impact report every year. As was mentioned earlier, in the open innovation, the whole SK Group affiliates are part of this alliance. So we learn more about their ESG management of SK affiliates, and we work together with them. Since I'm working for SK Telecom, let me now briefly talk about SK Telecom's ESG management. Carbon neutrality, social safety net, and also SK Telecom is AI company. We utilize AI for ESG. So these keywords indicate the basic direction of our ESG management. So in this direction, ESG Korea is engaging in many activities. So if you want to work together with ESG, SK Telecom Korea, you need to focus on this, net zero, and social safety net, and ESG AI service. When it comes to net zero, we want to increase efficiency of the signal post of based on AI, and also we are going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and utilize eco-friendly energy. And also we are trying to help elderly living alone, and we are also open for opportunities, any opportunities utilizing AI technology for ESG. So what is the definition of a company that is good at ESG management? If a startup CEO says, what's going to happen if my company disappears from this world? And based on that, you can redefine the problem, and you need to refocus your company's management. So there must be a certain purpose of your company. In order to achieve the good purpose, you need to choose ESG. That is true ESG company. Thank you very much.
양재모 부장님 고맙습니다.
So we just heard from Mr. Yang Jae-mo from SK Telecom. Before I listening his presentation, I realized ESG is a mainstream. And after listening his presentation, I once again understand how to implement ESG in business activities. So ESG is a must. So startup cannot have blind eyes to ESG. So now we are going to invite next speaker from Impact Square. Mr. Do Hyun-myung will share his ideas about ESG. Impact Accelerator, Impact Square is making great effort for the nurture of the startups, and he is making great effort in order to have better environments and solve for startups. So let's invite him. Hello, good afternoon. As introduced, I'm Do Hyun-myung from Impact Square. So in my presentation, I'd like to share what kind of view startups has regarding ESG and how ESG concept can be utilized by startups. So that is the main topic of my talks. So ESG has received tremendous attention, and here you can see the data from Google Trend. So the Google collect all the data which are Googled by people, so people's interest trend can be witnessed. So here you can see CSR and ESG, the trend. So there are some the area. So the CSR has a longer history, and the ESG started to be discussed starting from 2020. But actually, starting from 2018, there was some mentioning about ESG. The businesses and the banks, they presented products related to ESG, so social values and business activities. And regarding that, ESG has been emerging as a key topic. So this is a current trend. So in Korea, starting from December 2020, there has been Googling about ESG in very fast speed. In some sense, faster than the global, and there has been the increase of interest in ESG. So the big companies, they should accept the concept of ESG and they should implement that. So before they created the ESG committee and they studied about the concept of ESG, but preparing the next year, 2024, the big companies, they think about how they implement ESG. So this is a summary of ESG trend. To the startups, there are two different meanings. Startups, they want to be big company. They want to grow as a conglomerate. Rather than 1 billion and 2 billion the revenue, they want to have the 10 billion and more. They want to be the unicorn in their industry. In order to grow that far, it is important to embrace the concept of ESG. They should practice ESG. There is no direct regulations for ESG on the startup companies, and there is no the act and also requirements regarding ESG on the small size companies. As Mr. Yang mentioned, the ESG can be selectively practiced by startup companies. So whether startup companies will follow the direction of ESG, and that is their own the decision. But the startup, if they want to go for the bigger the company, if they want to grow further as a unicorn company, they should prepare for ESG from now. So Series B or Series C, the investors and they have interest about ESG. The social values and ESG are reviewed in order to make their investment decisions. And actually behind the scene, bigger size financial institutions, they will participate in Series B and Series C, Series D, and IPO. In order to take that path, you should prepare for ESG. So this is the first message I'd like to share. So Mr. Young had to talk about that, so I'm not going to go into deeper. The second one is about the open innovation. When big companies practice ESG, they need partner companies. So SKT, they also they mentioned they want to have a collaboration with small size companies. So this can be opportunities to start up companies. So it is the crucial to have the understanding about closed innovation and open innovation. So closed innovation is lab-based the research and R&D. So non-disclosure agreement is made in the closed innovation, and also in order to go into these lab facilities, the security is strengthened. So USB and the smartphones and those cannot be used in those lab. So that is a closed innovation. In order to secure core technologies and in order to prevent technology leakages, it is important to have a closed innovation. But there is one area this cannot have any meaningful the outcomes. Actually, in some innovations, it is important to have a close contact with the customers. The market is changing in very fast speed. And internally, there are some expertise in some industries, but as for some technologies, some companies, they do not have internal capacity. In that case, they should go for open innovations. They should open their gate to have a communication with the outside world in order to have new innovations. So ESG requires open innovations. ESG is a lot different from the practice done by big companies. So actually there is the social context as for ESG. Big size companies, they do not have a clear understanding about ESG and they cannot understand the societal context of ESG. And every single sector about the ESG cannot be well understood by big companies, and also changes in the market is taking place in very fast speed. So ESG cannot be done in the form of closed innovation. They should go for open innovation. So what startup companies should target for? So today, SK Telecom shared their area of interest, but most of the big companies, they do not talk about that. So ESG report and sustainable report, if you see the first of the page and the last page, you can get some idea. And this is the information by the unit level. So the x-axis, that is about business impact. The y-axis, that is about stakeholders' importance. So that is the social context. And while the right top area, that is the most important things. So in the societal the terms and business terms, and those are quite important. So packaging and waste is one of the area Unilever has a special interest. So Unilever produce the consumer product and consuming product, and they have a pretty high amount of waste. And one of the concern the Unilever had was the packaging materials. Then the material that is used for the the food, and that they cannot be well recycled. So European countries started to ban on this material. So Unilever started to initiate a project in order to produce a PP single material. So this material can be recycled, and after rinsing the packages, this can be recycled. For the first time in Europe, this recyclable lateral package has been introduced to the market. So internal the technologies and also collaboration with the startups lead to this innovation. So in February this year, I went to London and I met the company, the Meta. The Meta is based in the Denmark. That is a very important startup company. They produce furniture based on eco-friendly materials. And you can see chairs and the desk, those are very expensive. And this chair is about 600,000 Korean won, and the table is about 2 million Korean won. And that is a recycled material. So Carlsberg works with Meta to produce furniture made from recycled cakes. So Carlsberg bought the most of the produced products. So on the first lobby area, Carlsberg headquarters, they placed this the recycle based the desk and the chairs. That this also play role to enhance their company brand images. Also, we can see such cases in Korea. So in battery, there is the membrane. So when there is a small error, that should be wasted. But when this wasted membrane is used in order to produce a special textile, they can and create great revenues indeed. So the IET and is making the collaborations in order to utilize these wasted membranes. Massive amount of the membranes are wasted, and whenever this membrane is wasted, that should be reported. So that gives a negative impact from the perspective of ESG. So at the beginning of this year, the material was sold to Binpol. So this can give great benefit regarding ESG. So all these recycled materials can be used for the multiple purposes. So the globally and domestically, we can witness such cases. So the big companies, they will do the future-oriented businesses, but currently they cannot make a big revenue. That's why in very small scale, they can do some pilot the project. As for Shell, and that they want to participate in this ESG, and that they want to use the recycled coffee beans, and also they want to recycle biodiesels. So they want to initiate a certain project, but if they do that by themselves, it takes a quite a considerable amount of investment. So they collaborate with startups. So Shell had a great the collaborations and with the coffee bean and the makers. So Shell continue to support and invest in renewable the energies and creating and operating the diesel from coffee beans. So this is a good example. In Korea, we have another case with Lotte Chemical. So Lotte Chemical pursue various collective impact to understand the value chain of PET recycling. A few years ago, the Lotte the Chemical initiated a PET recycling project together with startups. So they collected PET material, and that was sorted out, and that was used in order to produce the bags and the shoes. And those recycle-based products has been sold in Lotte Mart. So this has been implemented for the last 4 years. This is a good example to support startups and the small and medium-sized companies, and the startup funding was used in order to support them. So on the top management level, Lotte Chemical made a decision to have such a project, and about the 150 billion Korean won is invested in order to establish a plan to produce recycled materials. And Korong FNC had the M&A the case based on collaboration with startups. So in order to change the business models, it takes quite a long time because the structure itself should be changed internally. So rather than they change their business structures and that they actually had a merge and acquisitions and that they merged one company based in the Mongolia. And based on this M&A, they could they observe the know-hows and also experience about the sustainable the clothes productions. And in the United States, there are many M&A cases, and the big companies are doing M&A in order to have knowledge and know-how about sustainability. So I speak very fast in order to shorten time. So ESG, that is the concept which is quite close to us. So when IT was first introduced to Korea and when smartphone was introduced to Korea, there were many people that is nothing to do with my business. One home appliance producing company and they turned blind eyes on the smartphones. Well, what was the result? So because they did not follow the changing trend and that they could not play the leadership in the market, ESG will play very important the impact in the future business. So all the business leaders should have a clear understanding about ESG and should find the business partner to practice that. In that sense, ESG is essential and that can provide great opportunities to all of us. With this, I'd like to level my talks. Thank you.
네, 고맙습니다. 도현명 대표님의
Thank you very much, Do Hyun-myung. It was so I wish we can have more startups joining this effort. So how startups can prepare for ESG management. So let's now talk about startup preparation for ESG. Venture Scare, Mr. Lee Young-sung, will talk about this. And for the growth of ESG startup alumni, he is very working hard. And he is also working as an ESG mentor for startups. He is contributing to the growth of startups a lot. So with a big round of applause, please welcome Mr. Myung-seung Eun. I'm very glad to meet you all. With the end of COVID-19 pandemic, I get to have more opportunities to take the stage like this. I'd like to thank SK for giving me this opportunity to talk. We are talking about ESG. From May last year, I wanted to explore ESG more. So I joined the KAIST ESG executive program, and as I learned more about it, the more difficult I felt about it. Many people are interested in ESG, but I'm not sure how many people know exactly about ESG. There's so much information about ESG, and there's so much preparation required for ESG. I think that all confuses us a lot. So ESG is kind of a difficult word, isn't it? So from the perspectives of startups, how do we need to look at ESG? When you first start your company, do you need to prepare for ESG? Do you need to respond to ESG? What do you need to do? I get to meet a lot of startup companies. I'm not necessarily meeting ESG startups only. So I meet thousands of startups and review hundreds of startups, and I have invested in 200 startups. And about 10% of them can be classified into ESG startups. But those who are categorized into ESG startups had really hard time. They had really hard time making profits and unfolding their businesses. So they were complaining about it. So I felt we need to change our viewpoint. Once we encounter the term ESG, we feel that we need to study. Just like we are reading a ethics textbook, we feel like we need to do something good. And there's a lot of questions and uncertainties about ESG in the market. Recently, the ESG disclosure will be mandatory by 2025, but the business association actually asked for the postponement of the deadline. So ESG funds, the profit and return rate of ESG funds are decreasing, and the number of ESG is increasing, but the number of types of ESG is decreasing, and the size of ESG funds are decreasing as well. So they feel that ESG doesn't make money. And some businesses are greenwashing. They just pretend to be eco-friendly. And there's a speculation that those greenwashing companies are the only companies who are making profits among ESG companies. So we spend more, we work harder in terms of ESG, but we have a hard time surviving. So businesses have questions about this. In terms of greenwashing, there was a bottled water company, and they said they created the eco-friendly plastic bottle without a tag. So they announced that they make plastic bottles which are environment friendly. So they heavily promoted it. But after all, what they are using as containers are plastic as well. So you shouldn't be deceptive about ESG practice. But we still feel the climate change and global warming. We see more climate-led disasters. And as a result of the Industrial Revolution, we are seeing this world which was adversely impacted by the outcome of Industrial Revolution, and the world is changing in a bad way. We're witnessing that. So startups, you need to prepare for ESG. You need to respond to ESG. What do you need to do? So let me share some perspectives. First, is this crisis or an opportunity? Startups look at all the points of changes as opportunity. All large companies and established businesses are looking at the current situation as crisis, but startups can regard this as an opportunity. So there is a network, established network, and there are established companies within the network. For them, it's very hard to change. And they have vulnerabilities in terms of that. But startups, they can complement those vulnerabilities. Korean small and medium companies are sometimes eliminated from supply chain because of their lack of ESG management. It's very happening, but it's not covered by the media. Recently, I went to Ansan factory complex and I met companies representatives, and they started to receive some warning letters from BMW. The warning letter basically states that the parts and products you are manufacturing are not in line with the practices we are promoting, which are RE100 and everything. So these factories and suppliers, they need to prove that their manufactured products are in line with those guidelines. But they are completely in the dark about that. They don't even know how the wastewater is treated. So, but because they got the warning letter, they started researching how to treat wastewater and where they need to source water, how they need to bring energy to their factories. So they're belatedly studying this right now. So there's a huge opportunity cost they're bearing right now. That's why they came to me to ask about this. So I'm sure many startups will encounter this kind of situation. We will have more regulations, more and more, and it will incur more costs for businesses. But for startups, they can start a new business based on the existing regulations because they are just starting out, unlike the established companies who are accustomed to the previous practice. B2B and B2C and B2G. And in terms of that, startups can contribute to reducing cost and saving cost. In the internet era, startups actually increased efficiency of the old practices. So this is truly an opportunity for startups. Startup investors, they need to pay attention to the technological trends and social trends. Basically, these investors are looking at who are going to resolve the current problems the market has. Cost saving and identification of new growth engines. If you have that in your company, investors will make an investment in your company. So even a small investor like me can see that opportunity. I believe large investors will see huge opportunities here. So ESG is cross-secting all the areas, whether it be economy or society. So I told you earlier that people have suspicions or some kind of doubts about ESG. But ESG is embedded in all sector of our lives. So it is being generalized in our daily lives. So this is the most important viewpoint that startups should have. Are you going to observe the situation? Or are you going to measure what you're going to create? In the United Kingdom, there is a startup called Satellite VLI. So Satellite View is measuring the temperature of a building. So the real estate companies and factory builders. So this company offers services to let them know how heat effective the building is, how cost saving this building is. So by data, they are showing the measurements. That way they can present better ways to save energy. So data measurements and big data related analysis system that will open a new horizon of opportunities for startups. So are you going to resolve the current problems or are you going to offer a completely new solution? You could reduce the heat loss from the existing buildings, or you could create a completely new building with a high heat efficiency. So this company is preparing for IPO. When we invested in this company 5 years ago, they were creating simulations for installing solar panels on the buildings. But as this company grew, They are looking to convert the buildings to being compliant with RE100. And also, they create a system to turn the heat energy or extra energy coming out of the buildings. So basically, this company is presenting a new alternative. Instead of trying to fix the current existing problems, they are presenting completely new thing. So there might be difficulties and hurdles. That's why startups need to work hard. So ventures. So we actually invested in this new company, AP Green. So when you supply clean hydrogen, so in the process of transport, a lot of carbon emissions occurring. So they came up with solution. Basically, so in each factory, they can create clean hydrogen. So that was named the low temperature plasma reactor, on-site low temperature plasma reactor. So this reactor is producing clean hydrogen. That is a completely new alternative for ESG. So after all, you are doing business. In order to find new opportunities, you need to have new perspectives. ESG is contributing to reducing carbon emissions and ensuring social justice and justice management of enterprises. But when a startup is born, it is important to document what you have been doing and what you are trying to do in terms of ESG. That way, you can appeal to customers and investors about your ESG practice. You shouldn't take this as a crisis. When you consider it as an opportunity, that means you have a good document about ESG practice that you are doing. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for the presentation. So the ESG self-checkup point has been shared. So thank you for your insightful presentation. And then now we are going to have IR pitching regarding ESG startups. So how ESG can address the problems faced by companies. So together with SKT, the value is generated in the field of ESG. For this, we are going to invite 6 startups. So please welcome them when they are invited up to the stage. The first this startup is a studio, and they have a Parkinson's disease diagnosis guide solution. So let's invite Mr. Park Sing-gi up to the stage. Please welcome him with a big round of applause. Hello, good afternoon. So we are at Studio, which make AI guide analysis solution, the kiosk, the PySense. In dementia, brain problems are linked to cognitive function, and we are trying to solve a problem of late diagnosis of the Parkinson's disease with our computer vision AI technology. Parkinson's disease in Korea. So medical expenses are ranked 31st among top 500 diseases in Korea. So the number of patients in Korea has exceeded 120,000. And since there is no cure for Parkinson's disease, the cost of medical treatment is higher that have a high social cost. The biggest problem with the Parkinson's disease, which has no cure, is a late diagnosis. As many as 23% of patients do not recognize the disease, and 40% of patients are diagnosis more than a year later. So as you can see on the right side graph, we want to create value based on early diagnosis. This is a process of delayed diagnosis. After the initial symptom occurs, people assume they are old and ignore the symptom. But they go to the primary care physicians where the significant number of the misdiagnoses occur. Because Parkinson's is a complex disease, it can only be diagnosed with 90% accuracy when you go to the university hospital. So I'd like to introduce the solutions. Let's start with the introduction of the products. So we could reduce the price by 80%, and also Alpus work will be introduced near future. It is an application that prevents Alzheimer and Parkinson's by encouraging healthy walking. So customs is videotaped and imagery is analyzed when abnormality is detected. They are guided to the hospital. I'd like to introduce our technology. So the users can record their gait for about 10 seconds. AI detects the movement. 10-second video of 17 joints produce more than 10,000 data points. So abnormality is checked. So this is a self questionnaire. So National University Hospital professor also used this the questionnaire. This has the 70% of the accuracy. We added 3 cases of non-motor symptom to it, and we ran the Parkinson's and the additional questionnaires to check performance. So for reference, the dementia costs 20 billion won a year. By using this self-questionnaire, we can have our early diagnosis and save social cost. And this is another applications. Currently, overseas competitors are mainly based on Apple Watch to measure gait for early detection of Parkinson's disease. But we are building the competitive advantages by utilizing computer vision AI. In 2012, computer vision object recognition AI first introduced, and 7 years later, Tesla mass-produced FSD. And in 2015, Google announced deep learning-based motion recognition AI. And 8 years later, motion recognition AI has grown into commercially visible technologies. So we are also developing advanced analytic technology with Professor Lee Sung-gyun of Korea University. The domestic silver market is growing rapidly from 72 trillion won to 168 trillion won. Among them, we are looking at 2.3 trillion won in senior-friendly products and 10 billion won in nursing care. So you can see the trend. We saw the demand for health kiosk through the Smart Pathway pilot project, and the basic level of a kiosk was well delivered. So there is also barefoot the working practice. So we are building reference with universities and large the corporations this year, and will enter B2G market. So this is our growth strategies, and we are going to do the demonstrations in nursing the care facilities. We will expand the gait-related disease detection functions, and also we can reduce the price further. In 3 years, the motion detection advanced AI technology will be added, so this will be the platform to protect the privacy and the daily life of seniors. So we want to capture the market for the dynamic biomarker. So we can support the caregivers and the physicians and also patients. With our solution, we estimate about 1 million seniors can get benefit. And starting from the January and this year, Parkinson's agenda becomes a top agenda in our technology development. So these are the members in our journey. I had 9 years of experience in the mobility, and with my the juniors, I established this company. I received the greatest support from the people around me, and I participated in many projects. So the elderly disease need to be looked at for a long time, but domestic demographics are changing very fast. So with AI technologies that can replace human eyes, we will be the company that can give a social benefit. We are a studio which is support the socially vulnerable people. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So with AI, we can go together with marginalized people. Thank you very much for your presentation. Next presenter is Mr. Yang Jung-han from Popco.
네, 반갑습니다.
Hello, it's very nice to meet you. So do you do the returning of products? So quick delivery is done in Korea, and also you do many returning of the project if you do not like the products. So there are great loss caused by returning of products. So we are developing the value chain platform to reduce the waste from returning goods. So the total market size for the returning goods, that is about 43 trillion Korean won. The 89% of returned products are wasted. So cannibalizations and also the no trust, and because of that, most of these returned products are wasted. So in order to address this problem, we came up with 3 solutions. First, how we can collect returned products in efficient manner. So first, the products are delivered to door, but in more the convenient way and in more the cost-effective way. We want to collect and pick up those returned products, and those can be sold again. And we want to also develop good ways to sell these returned products in the market. So we want to develop platforms. So the returned products that will be delivered to the warehouse. So many steps are required in order to have such a delivery. And if we have the mass the delivery for the returned products, then we can reduce the wasted money and also in more smooth terms. And we can have the recycle of those products. This one is a review of returned products, and you might think those can be basically checked and sold again in the market, but it's not easy. When the products is returned, there should be thorough review, and after that, if there is no problem of the products and they can be sold, WMS, the market, the tracking can be used. So data can be collected. Based on that, the review process can be dramatically shortened. The last one is how to solve these products. And we have a thank you market. So about 80% of these return products, and they are sold within 3 months. So there are many the consumers who want to purchase returned products. So some products can be sold on the offline market and some can be sold on the online market. This one is B2B. As I mentioned, there are no trust for the returned products, and it is important to build trust between the sellers and also the buyers. So it is important to build such platforms. As I mentioned, returned products should be collected first, and that should be reviewed, and that should be sold on these specialized platforms. So companies, they can have additional profits by selling these returned products and by utilizing our services in more the cost-effective way, and that they can sell the returned products in the market. The supply and demand, they can be connected, and we can do systemization of such the sellings. So this is our competitive edge, and that this can create very sound supply chains. So we can support the companies to register the products, return the products online. And the platforms, AI technology can be utilized in order to support that. So such a business model is quite new in Korea, but in the United States, there is the unicorn company Optoro, and that they collect a massive amount of returned products and that they are sold again on the market, so they can create market values. By utilizing the better and advanced technologies, we can give such benefits to Korean market as well. And I believe this market for returned products will get bigger. The quick commerce and e-commerce and those are growing, so there are great demand to handle the returned products. If we cannot handle returned products in proper manner, the wasted goods will increase. So necessary technology should be utilized, and by developing such a technology in advance, we can preoccupy such a market. So we have a collaboration with the Coupang and Naver and the Emart, and we have a collaboration with such big distributors. So our thank you market and the B2B business will grow further. So we are expanding our market channels and the chains, and I believe our business will receive more attention down the road. The supply and the demand should meet together, and we should have a systemized system. So systemized system, supply, demand, those three elements should go together. So by providing the advanced solutions, all the stakeholders can benefit. We are expanding our solution, the portions. So these distributors in Korea, they will select and adopt our solutions. So we have the people with great the capabilities regarding the development of such solutions, and all these the resources should not be wasted. They should be properly used. So that is the part of ESG practice. We are going to make our continued effort to this end. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was such a promising company. Thank you for your presentation. Now let's move on to the third team. Functional, eco-friendly package development. Neuropack. So we are going to hear from the CEO of Neuropack, Mr. Go Il-suk. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Go Il-suk, CEO of Neuropack. Let me start my pitching. Nowadays, we are seeing an increase of single household, and also online markets are booming. as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So HML and also the meal kits are expanding in the market. And now there's increasing attention to the packaging materials. When it comes to packaging materials, they keep the fresh products fresh, and also there are natural sourced materials that can be used for packaging. And the amount of food waste is increasing as we have more food products. And it can also additionally cause environmental problems such as carbon emissions. So there's increasing concerns for climate and environment problems. So there's increasing greenhouse gas emissions. And as a result of the disposal of food waste, and we believe that the eco-friendly business will further expand. So in meeting the demands of consumers, and we developed various packaging products. So we have functional packaging materials, and also we have eco-friendly materials that were made of natural ingredients. So when it comes to functional packaging materials, they have functions of preventing bacteria. And also when it comes to eco-friendly materials, so they are pulp, paper-based materials which are replacing aluminum and plastics. So when it comes to functional packaging materials, we utilize the lotus leaves and ginkgo leaves, and from that we used antibacterial substances that actually prevents the creation and growth of bacteria. And it also has a function of not containing water, because water can be a breeding bag for bacteria. And from agricultural produce, the ethylene gas or some gases that we breathe out, and these can be absorbed into these functional materials. So as for the environmental friendly materials, we are replacing aluminum, and tubes and pouches are made of non-aluminum materials. But still, these materials have the transparency level, which are the same as aluminum. And when you use these materials, you can microwave them as well. In addition, among eco-friendly packaging materials, we use some seafood products to create eco-friendly films. And they are resistant, and also they are biodegradable. So my company, Neuropack, are using homegrown materials and homegrown technologies. And we have price competitiveness, and we can provide custom-tailored packaging products for you. So in collaboration with our customers and in meeting their customers' needs, we are creating business models. So when you look at the staff at my company, including myself, we are all specializes in the research on this matter. So we are all from labs. We wanted to apply our research findings and results to the practical use. So since the foundation, we have reaped a lot of practical outcomes. So not only my school lab, but also we are getting technological transfer from other university labs, such as Dankook University. So with many companies, we are conducting POCs. When it comes to performance testing, we are proving and confirming the functions of our materials. And we successfully carried out the research projects and even the areas where we cannot prove through performance testing, we conduct research on that and we publish article about it. And we can also provide custom tailored packaging products for your business. So you don't have to change the factory line or structure there because we can provide our packaging products that are custom tailored for your factories. And also because your packaging products can be eco-friendly, you can contribute to the sales boost. And also they can be recyclable, so it will continue to appeal to customers who are environment conscious. So our business has matured a lot, and we have worked together with many companies, including cosmetic companies. And we are also planning to expand to China and Vietnam and other Southeast Asian countries. And we signed MOUs in that regard. And we successfully attracted 1 billion won. And we are currently attracting more investments. With this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.
So eco-friendly packaging material has been introduced by Neuropack. So let's invite next the speaker, and we are going to invite Paras Entertainment. Let's invite her.
네, 반갑습니다. 장애인을 위한 연예 기획사 파라스타 엔터테인먼트 대표입니다.
I am Chairi from Paras Entertainment. I'm the CEO of this company. Why don't we watch a short video clip that I prepared?
네, 전원 다 청각 장애를 가지고 있는 친구들입니다. 그래서 음성 대신에 수어로 노래를
People with the hearing disabilities. So they are the world's first idol group consisting of people with hearing disabilities. So we are fostering stars from people with disabilities, and we are creating content for people with disabilities, not only for people with disabilities, but also for seniors and multicultural families. We need to reflect diversity in our content, especially in entertainment content. When you look at Netflix, so the share of people with characters with disabilities increased to over 15%. So there's an increasing market for contents for people with disabilities. But there are not many players who can work in this field. You might be aware of these people, but still, we don't have many disabled people working in the entertainment business. And we are asking the Disability People Association when we create content. We don't have experts with disabilities specializing in this field. So we decided to create contents for people with disability. So there are three points that differentiate us from other businesses. So our group consists of the TV personalities and people with disabilities. So the broadcasting people joined our company, and currently about 40 disabled artists are here with us. And we are seeing increasing number of people at this company that include people with disabilities in their family. So we are trying to achieve the scale economy, and we're also trying to achieve the efficiency of the economy. In order to grow the one star from the people with hearing disability, we need to have at least one sign language interpreter. But it's quite costly. But we have about 9 artists with a hearing disability. That way, we could hire one sign language interpreter full time. So we can easily cast from this pool, and we can provide entertainers from this pool. So we achieved a 300% growth in our business over the last 3 years. And also we created 150 videos about disabilities. There are many types of disabilities, and those videos feature some political correctness about terms that we need to use in terms of disability. So we have 3 disability-related IP business: management, production, and everything. So as I mentioned earlier, so we produce a disabled artist idol group in this production section. So there are 460 million people with disabilities. Mainly, they are hearing impaired, and they are frenzy about contents that are provided in sign language. So we created this hearing impaired artist, and this is a group. So they have yet to make a debut, but already on social media and in the press, there's a lot of attention paid to this group, and there's a lot of questions and interviews about this group. So the group's name is Ask Boys, and we have other 40 disability artists. Second part is about a disability again. Last year, you watched the weird lawyer Woo Young-woo, right? It was very sensationally popular. So we planned a reality show where people with disability can date. So Heart Signal script writer and director decided to join this production. And also Mr. Romance decided to collaborate on co-production of this show. Do you think it's going to be popular? You might question that. But in other countries, there's a precedence, Love on the Spectrum. That is a show where autistic people date. So it was very sensational, and also it was popular. Already season 1 and 2 were created, and they also made it to Netflix top 10 in 11 countries, including the United States. So management and production. Our KPI has been on constant rise for the past 3 years, and we attracted 3 cases of investments, and we also achieved international certification. And we are receiving support programs from 11 organizations. This is a testament to the love and support that we have. And I used to be an announcer on a broadcasting company. Well, you might know me through certain programs, but before I became an announcer, I was interested in sports, and there I met people with disabilities. That's why I stepped into this business. Since what we do is the world's first. So basically, we try everything. These are the executives and staff who are trying new things with me. So in entertainment business and in broadcasting business, so these people have experiences, and they joined us, and they work really hard. Do you know the share of people with disability compared to the global population? Maybe you might think it's 1% or 2%, but it is a whooping 15%. So there's a huge population with disability. So we want to represent this huge group, and we want to be a brand that represent this group, and we want to be a global disability brand that links and bridge non-disability people and people with disability. That's amazing.
글로벌 기업을 꿈꾸는
So Parastar want to be a global company based on their solutions. So we are inviting startups in order to give solutions to the problems we face in the ESG sector. And we are inviting 6 startups. 2 teams are remained. So next, the company is In Hand Plus. For this, we are going to invite Mr. Lee Hee-won. So let's invite the CEO.
박수로 맞이해 주십시오.
Please welcome him with a big round of applause. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am CEO of In Hand Plus. My name is Lee Hee-won. We are making artificial intelligent smartwatch. So smartwatch is analyzing the behaviors of the user. So using this technology, we are analyzing when and what type of medicine they are taking. So we are providing relevant medication services. This is the in-hand watch that we are producing. You know, Apple Watch and a Galaxy Watch. So our watch is also measuring your steps and heart rate and everything. But we have camera module and AI linking with this watch. So we are analyzing the user's behavior. So basically, we are producing the data on how, when, and what kind of drugs the user took. So this is how what our product looks like. So we are creating a medication administration record system. So in the past, so you have to enter the information about your medication. But with this system, with this watch, automatically it is creating data and it is adding data. So if you miss or skip medication at a certain time, and this system can alert you. And we have real-time remote patient monitoring system. So dozens of people can participate in this monitoring system. So if they are taking medication on time, it's fine, but if they don't, we can give them feedback. So we provide this tool to the managers so that they can increase their work efficiency. So these are the advantages of our solution. First, it's very convenient to use. You don't have to do anything but wear a smartwatch. So automatically, it will record your behavior and automatically give feedback. And also, this solution can have wide area to be applied to. So many, unlike not only the medical devices, but also drugs and tablets and even food can be analyzed with this system. Our first market that we are targeting is global clinical trial market. And this market is $4.5 million worth market. Even though they invest that much money, their success rate is really low. So by 2030, this market will grow to hundreds of trillion dollars in size. Currently, when you look at the clinical trial process, it's all manual. So the subjects, they have to go to the clinic. That way, the health professionals can count the number of tablets. That way, indirectly, they can check whether the subjects are taking drugs or not. So you can create the issue of the data credibility. And also, it makes it difficult to give proper feedback to the subject. So their drug tolerability and also their compliance with medication can be lower. So in the current clinical trial practice, we never know when they are taking drugs. However, with our solution, we can create really credible data. And this data can be shown in the remote patient monitoring system. So when you look at the existing solutions, they're really expensive and they're really inconvenient to use, and their scalability is really low. However, our solution is very convenient. It has high scalability. So compared to the existing solutions, our solution is very competitive. Our business model can offer our solution to CROs or pharmaceutical companies in a B2B manner. So we can provide the relevant solution to them as well. We have worked together with global top-tier companies, and we proved our efficiency. By working with global company, we completed 3 pieces of articles, and these articles proved and confirmed the efficiency and conveniency of our solution, and also it helped patients to comply with medication schedule. And by using our solution, the medication compliance rate can be increased by 20%. Recently, we worked together with the Seoul National University Medical Center, and we could find that the patients, they took medicine more on schedule, and our solution is actually in use by clinical trial institutions. And we are advancing to global clinical trial market at a fast pace. From CNR research, we received a strategic investment, and we are preparing to make a global advancement. And also, we are trying to expand the reach of our monitoring system. So seniors and people with chronic diseases and people with mental diseases, they can benefit from this system. And currently, we are moving to have collaboration with welfare centers across the country. And we sealed investments. And based on the investment, we are conducting a clinical trial with our solution. But as I said earlier, the remote patient monitoring system and digital treatment market, they are the markets that we are looking at. I received a doctorate degree from Sungkyunkwan University, and also I have some on-site experience. So in 2019, I founded this company based on the problems that I found in the real market. So my team consists of real talents and people with expertise. And we have about over 50 tech portfolios. So in terms of technology, we are really excellent company. So we are trying to create a doctor for you, which are located on your wrist. So doctor on your wrist. So that is an amazing idea. That's a big ambition as well. So it was the pitching from the InHand Plus. The 6th speaker
is Mr. Choi Hyun-ung from CDN that is providing expertise regarding energy conservation and saving. Hello, good afternoon. So I'm the last speaker, so I'd like to ask your attention once again. So let me begin. Hello, once again. And we are building the management and control platform. We are CDN, and we're providing cooling and heating and the solutions. So when you control heating and cooling machines, how do you control them? So you can picture your the experience in your mind. So unconsciously you control these machines, but because of the use of heating and cooling machines, about 60% of energies are wasted. So we are not doing the precision control, and we just control based on our feelings. So the building is wasting the energies, and heating and cooling machines is a main couplet for the waste of the energies. So these are the numbers and then figures, and about 600 million pine trees are wasted because of heating and cooling. Internally and externally, there are great discussions about climate changes and ESGs and also the energy savings. Those are very hot topics these days in Korea. And we also have discussions about these issues in summertime and winter time. And you have the pretty expensive electricity bill, and our home is not the exception. So our solution can be the ground to grow further. So this is the electricity cost. So about the 20 and 30% and of the level of electricity bill is sent to the Korean household in comparison to EU, the household. So we have small populations, and also we have the small number of industry. But when it comes to the energy consumptions, Korea is a number 3. That's why increasing number of users, they visit our company. So the household, the residential, the complex and office complex, and also many franchisers, and they contact us in order to adopt our solutions. So there are the expectations they have and many for, I believe. First one is ESG. So companies want to have the branding and also reduce operation costs through this platform. And they want to enhance the convenience and the pleasant space and the management. And at the same time, they want to reduce operation costs. That's why they have a great attention on our the platform. So our Leaf solution analyze the space and can make predictions. So users can have automatic the management and control of the space. So the energy efficiency can be dramatically enhanced by utilizing Leaf applications. Scalability is very crucial, so it is very easy to install this system. So this is one advantages of a Leaf application. So there is no the limitations, and we have a great interoperability. So in every building, this application can be installed. The cost is another important aspect. So when we introduce this system, if this is expensive, if there is no price competitiveness, this will not be well accepted. But our Leaf application that is reasonably priced, that's why it is well received in the market. So you can see some references. So for about 13 months, there was the technology verification in one company, and this one is 8 months data. About 8 million Korean won was saved by using Reef application. So when you see the annual data, you can see another dramatic reduction of operation cost. So there are the companies which are moving fast. So the big and the mega size investors and conglomerates, and they want to adopt our solutions. So we are the experts who provide expertise regarding building management, big data, IoT, and AI. Based on these technologies, we provide differentiated solutions. And if you have any the interest, please do contact us. So energy and the climate changes and ESG management, and those are the give great challenges to all of us. So many of you concerned about that. And the energy, and that should be looked based on the differentiated perspective. For the last 8 years, in order to provide the solutions, differentiated solutions, we made a great effort. So CDN will make a continuous effort with a great passion and to make the changes in the perception on energies. Thank you. So we could see greater passion from CDN. So we heard from the Mr. Choi Hyunung. So Do ESG by SKT Demo Day is just shared. So we could see new value created by ESG. 6 startups make a continuous the trials in order to make changes and deliver new values. I sincerely hope that they can find the bigger and better market. SKT will spare no effort in order to provide the ground for startups. So this is a time to wrap up this session. I'd like to send my sincere thanks to every one of you. So startup will provide a driving engine, and they provide the answers to social problems in new way. SKT, based on the close collaboration with the startups, will provide new solutions as it did for the last 10 years. So for the ESG startups, and we are going to provide continuous support. So I believe you enjoyed the lunchbox, right? So after enjoying lunchbox, please return the box to our staff members. So this is the prepared by InBuff. That is a subscription-based lunchbox delivery company. This is the health conscious diet the developing company. So this company is here as well. And also this lunchbox package is specially developed. Thank you for that. And we are going to return with the opening the ceremony at 2 p.m. Thank you.